All right, everyone. Welcome. So today, the idea of this class, if you will, is it's going to be more interactive. But the idea is to answer any questions you guys may have on the infinity indicator or any of the other indicators that I've shared. Um, uh, if we have some time, I want to go over the Fibonacci retracement, even though Dustin isn't here. Um, but so that's the idea of the meeting. So any questions you guys have on trading, charts, anything like that, that's kind of the point of this here meeting. So I'll start out with the questions that were already sent to me. Um, so let me just share my screen here. Let's do this. Share. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Um, okay, so I'm going to start with the questions that were sent to me. There's some good questions, and you guys may have some of the same questions as well. So these are from um, hmm, let's see. I guess we can start here. Okay. So ETH versus RTH, okay? So what is the difference? So ETH is obviously extended trading hours, whereas RTH is regular trading hours. So if you're trading on the daily chart, it's not going to matter at all. It's not even going to give you that option. But if you're day trading, so essentially the way I do it is if I'm looking at something like the hourly chart or below, or I'm sorry, I guess I should say below the hourly chart. So the hourly chart and above, I would probably look at regular trading hours. And the reason for that is basically, I mean, essentially or most of us are trading options or futures. So especially in the case of options, we don't want the play to we want to be able to get in and out of the play during trading hours, right? So if we get a buy signal on the infinity indicator, let's say, and we get one at noon, and it's for a swing trade. Now, if the market goes up and it skyrockets, we're not going to be able to sell that option until the next day at 9:30 when the market opens. And by then the move, depending on the move and all these different variables, obviously, but by then the move could have happened. So the way I kind of counter that is by using extended trading hours for the day trading because you don't need to worry about that. We're going to be in and out on the same day. But on anything swing trading or longer, we're looking at using the RTH. Maybe I'll just kind of dip into really quickly what I'm talking about. See if I'm sure I could find an example, and it's not going to be on the ES. So let's just go to old trusty SPY over here, right? So I've got it on. Let's turn it to extended trading hours here. Let me see if I could find a good example for you. So we're on the hourly chart now, extended trading hours. Let's see. Let's see if I can find an example. Mm, uh, I mean, this is kind of an example. The move did yeah, I guess that's not really an example, but imagine this buy signal here came right before close, okay? So we had this big run up after hours, right? And we got lucky here. I mean, maybe not lucky, but in this instance, the move continued into the regular day, and we had an opportunity to take profits here at some point during the day. So what you'll see sometimes, though, is, and I'm not going to spend all day looking for it, you will see something like a buy signal come during the day here, and then you'll have this move happen after hours, and then it'll come back down. So even as you guys know, even a move like this can be significant in SPY, even if it just went up 5 points or something. I mean, that's a good move on an option. So that's the reason I use regular trading hours for swing trades. And then everything under an hour, I'm using extended, or I'm sorry, this was on the, why did I keep switching back? Um, I guess I can't show you on the regular trading what I mean. And so that's what I mean. I hope that answers your question. All you need to do is recognize that if you're day trading, use ETH, okay? If you're swing trading, use RTH. We'll keep it simple, and trust me, that's moving you in the right direction. Unless you're not trading options, in which case it doesn't make so much of a difference, but I would still go by that. So if that doesn't answer your question, Lisa, just speak up in the chat. I'm going to go into the next question. What are Bitlender's channels? Okay, so Bitlender is a friend and a coworker of mine, someone who was suggested to me by a community member, and me and him work together, and I'm working on working with him more on plays because, as you guys have seen, like he's been throwing out a lot of crypto plays, and I've kind of been coming behind him and being like, "Oh yeah, there is support here, by the way," and that's how some of the plays like the Doge play, the XRP play, stuff like that, came into consideration. But that's who Bitlender is. For now, I keep his stuff separate. I think he deserves a separate area because he stands alone in his analysis, and I wouldn't bring him on if I, if I didn't see value there for the community. So I've been tracking his plays, not like I do mine, where I literally track every single play. But I have been tracking his plays, following his plays the best I can, and for the most part, they've been solid. So that's who Bitlender is. And then I think the last question you had, okay, you had two. So any fix on the volume order book? We do have a fix. It is a coding error, and I'm going to see if the person who fixed it will share that script with us. Okay, so here's a good one. How to read the MLMI. Okay. So I did a video on this. If you're still confused after this, I would just say just practice and get back into the chart so you can kind of see more about how the indicator works. So the MLMI indicator is the machine learning, this one, the machine learning momentum index indicator. It's a free indicator, and it's super, super solid. Uh, it's essentially an oscillator like a MACD or an RSI, but it's just it integrates AI into it. I believe it integrates moving averages into it as well. And it's really, really solid. And I'll show you really quickly how, again, how it's used. So essentially when you see it starting to shade here, that doesn't mean the play is going to go the other way right then. But what that is that's an opportunity for you to say, okay, we could be seeing a bottom here, or we could be seeing a top here. Okay. You see how that works? So, and then you'll see it doesn't actually start the move until the signal line crosses and then heads in the opposite direction. So, for instance, here, and you guys can follow um, uh, my pointer here. Um, so you can see here it's shading here, And what that's signaling is that it could be a bottom. And then you see, as soon as we cross here and then head the other way, that's when the market turns up. Okay. And the same thing on the downside, right? So you don't want to just start shorting or going the other way as it starts to shade, right? Because it starts to shade like right here or even earlier. So like right there, right? And then it still goes up more after that. So what you're looking at that is an okay, a change could be coming here soon in the near future. And it does. After it, goes up and you'll see, and after it crosses here and you see the shade starts to disappear, that is when you would want to enter. That's when the move starts going the other way. And you'll see again, it happens again here. Okay, pulls out the bottom, heads the other way, and then essentially the same thing over here. Now, again, this isn't a perfect indicator, right? So had you went short here, there was nothing left on the table here, and it actually went a little bit longer. And then finally here is when we came down. So that's why, again, you never want to use any one indicator for anything. Even though it worked here, here, and here, it failed here, and then obviously worked again here. This is why when you integrate multiple indicators, you can have this, you're setting up for high probability setups whenever you have multiple indicators greenlit. And just one thing I want to touch on again, just because it's so important. Even today, I was playing around with some calls, and I made like a little bit of money, but it was so stressful trying to time the bottom, and I was just testing out a theory to see if it worked, but going against the trend was just difficult. And let's go to SPY. I'll kind of just touch on that before we get into the open floor question. That was her last question. So again, Lisa, if I didn't answer any of those questions to the best of your ability, just let me know in the chat. So today, here, again, this is what are we on here? The 1 minute, right? So here's the session from. Oh no, yeah, we're on SPY. Oh, I'm on damn RTH. Confusing myself. Here we go. So here's today's session. Okay. You could see where all the money was to be made, aside from the few bounces here, which these are the bounces that I was trying to play. But you can see how much easier it was to just go with the trend, which was, again, what do I mean by going with the trend? Just zoom out. So you should do it the other way. And again, I'm back to ETH. Again, this doesn't make a huge difference. Okay. But it does make a difference, especially when you're trading options. I knew we were in a downtrend here, and regardless of whether we're on ETH or RTH, we're in a downtrend. Yeah, and again, this is on the hourly chart. Again, if you zoom out even further, we're still in a very clear uptrend going up. Um, um, so we're in a clear downtrend. So what does that tell you? We are the easier plays, if you will, the plays with more substance are likely going to be the ones, the downtrend ones. Just wanted to throw that out there. Um, Hopefully that answered all your questions, Lisa. You can unmute for a second in case you want to follow up, on anything, and
Yep,
then I'll
that's it.
start taking.
Thank you.
Were they did you follow?
I do. One follow-up question. The difference between the green and the blue lines, which one should we be monitoring more closely?
You shouldn't be monitoring either one more closely. You should be just that what I just shared is what you should be looking for. Oh, thank you though.
Okay.
This is why I love the collaboration. When you talk, you get more information out. So the one other thing that I think you can use this indicator for, let me see if I can find an instance. here. Probably on the 1 minute will probably be easiest. Um, uh, no, maybe not. Let's see. Let's look at the 15. Okay, this will work right here. I'll pull this area right here apart right here. So right here, I can pretty much assure you from like here to here, we have a lot of sideways action with the market. So let's see. Go up, gotta go down. Okay. So what did I say from here to here, right? Yeah. So let's zoom in a little bit. See what I mean. So here. So whenever you're look at the, you're not here, you're not seeing green or red anywhere, right? You're not seeing any shades of anything. Why? Well, the market's pretty much just going sideways. So what you can do with this indicator as well is use it as a sideways indicator, um, kind of like the impulse MACD. Um, but that's what you want to look for. Let me see if I can find a little bit better explanation there. Although that one was pretty decent. Um, okay, here. This is what I'll do. So I'll just stretch it out. So here, from here to here. So this is the 30-minute chart here, right? So essentially from here to here, you're really close to this line. And this is something that I'm looking at potentially coding into the indicator. It probably won't be till the be January, but using this as an indication for sideways price action. So you can see here as we're kind of in the middle in no man's land, if you will, that essentially tells you that there's a sideways market. And then obviously the opposite of that, you see the red, we head up. This one was a little funky. We kind of took a little, pulled back a little bit before heading up, but you could see again where we were going. And again, you can see here, right? Starts to shade here. We're not, it's just it's a caution light. It's a yellow light, if you will. You have a yellow light, yellow light, yellow light, yellow light, boom, green light, infinity indicator sell signal, and down we go. So uh that now I think that answers all your questions. Does anyone else have any other questions? I'll open the floor. I don't know if I can. Sorry, Chuck, I didn't mean to do you just individually. Um, if not, I can just kind of just go into the infinity indicator a little bit. Maybe some settings that you guys might use. I'm just trying to think. Unless you guys give me questions, I really don't have anything to go off of other than everything I've shared. So again, repeat signals is optional. Um, what else? What else? Um, what other questions you guys got? I know you got questions.
I personally need to like start from the very beginning. I finally paid for the Trading View upgrade, but
Yeah.
all of my stuff that I had in here is not in here anymore. So I've got to start, I basically got to set up the indicator from square one.
Gotcha. So
Um,
it's super easy too. I'll even just run through it here real quick.
okay, can
So
I just
all
follow
you're
yours
doing,
through it?
obviously, you're going to you need access from me. Okay, this is a private script, so you're going to need to basically say, "Hey, man, my TradingView username is this," and I'm going to grant you permission, and then you're going to have access to the indicator. When
You've
you
already
go to
granted me
indicator,
permission.
what's that?
I have the permission already. You granted me permission already.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm just saying that this more in
Oh,
general for people.
okay,
But
yeah, my bad.
after you get permission, it will be in your invite only script. You pull it up, you're gonna see infinity indicator version blah blah blah. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna scroll over here to settings. You're gonna go to I suggest keeping repeat signals on. You don't need it on, but it's going to give you more plays and it's going to give you an opportunity to average into plays as well. So, for instance, here, we got a cell signal, right? Well, you could then average in on the cell signals, or, here, we got a buy signal here, right? Well, instead of just buying once, you could have then bought and then averaged in. They say ride your winners, right? This is a good way for you to average up. And ride your winners, and you're taking home essentially more, well, whatever more profits. Um, so I do suggest having the repeat indicators on. Um, Other than that, turn everything else off except use MACD filter. You can turn these off too. It's up to you. For me, they're a good support and resistance area, so I do keep them on. But you don't. That's kind of up to you. So the only thing you're going to have on is repeat signals and use MACD filter if you're using this with another indicator, okay? So if you're using this and you only want to use the infinity indicator and look at nothing else, then you need to check this higher time frame box, which is here under Q trend settings. And what that will do is it will pull uh, what are we on, 30 minutes? So it will pull all the uh, counter trend trades away. This probably works better on the 15 to show you if I have to. There we go. So it will pull away. Essentially, it picks the trend for you. So what's the downside of this indicator? Well, on plays where you reverse, you're not going to get into the play at the beginning, and it could end up, paying for you. Like this play right here. Yeah, okay. Actually, I didn't see we went down, but still, you probably made minuscule profits on these plays. Whereas if you look here, if I turn the higher time frame off, again, watch this area right here, guys. Okay, watch this area right here. This first sell signal didn't come till right here. Remember that. Okay, so now let's turn the higher time frame off. This is what I suggest that more active traders, and if you're using any secondary indicator besides the indicator, then I want you to have this higher time frame box off. Okay, we turn the higher time frame box off, and this is what we get. Okay, so our signals no longer come later. So what did you sacrifice? Well, now you need to weed out the plays that don't work. Okay, this play right here didn't work. Okay, so you'd have to weed those out with other indicators. Now you need to remember that even the plays that don't work, right? So that one didn't work. You took a small loss. You made it all back here, and then you made, you're sitting stupid pretty after getting in this play. Okay. So that's what you're sacrificing with the higher time frame box checked off. But if you're an active trader and you're using any more than one indicator, anything more than just the infinity indicator, I want you to have that higher time frame box checked off. Okay. Anyone have any questions about that or anything else? Floor's open.
So the MACD filter, do we need to change the
No,
fast, slow, and signal length?
no. I'm just gonna repeat myself just to be super clear about everything, okay?
Yeah.
So the only boxes you're gonna need checked are repeat signals and use MACD filter, okay? The
Yep.
only thing you're going to change is if you are doing some more long-term trading, I suggest you changing the ATR multiplier to something like 2 or closer to 2. If it's anything other than like under the 1 hour or the 1 hour or under, keep it at 1.5. And if you want, this is something that you can play around with. You can play around with 1 point, you can play around pretty much between 1 and 2.5. 3. I would say between 1 and 3. If you're a more experienced trader, if you're trying to get the best out of this indicator for a particular asset. So the way I have it set up is for SPY and the ES, and it works great for those, and it works very, very good, even great for almost any other asset. But you may be able to pull better results on something like a shitcoin or something, or if you're doing like meme stock crypto, where you may want the ATR multiplier or the sensitivity, if you will, to be higher or lower in some instances. But if you're trading like SPY or any of the regular stocks or Bitcoin or any of the regular crypto, I would just keep it the way it is. So again, the only thing you're going to have checked is the repeat signals, and that's optional to you, but I suggest it, and the use MACD filter. We're not changing anything else other than what I just talked about, the ATR multiplier. And these are up to you. And again, this is all in my last current video, so you can go back and watch that. But essentially, what I told you is just the video in a nutshell. The last thing I want to say, and I want to be super, super clear about this. Make sure you hit save afterwards. Go up here and make sure you hit save. Because if you're using the default settings to this indicator, and I'm going to work on who I got this coded with to hopefully fix this problem. But if you use the default settings to this indicator, it doesn't work great. It barely works good. So that's why I'm trying to tell you that these settings are very important. They've been tested here. And the default settings look like something like they have this box selected. I think this one's selected. I think these two are selected here. And so before, let's see how this looks. Oh, do I have the higher time frame selected? Oh, and the higher time frame isn't selected on that. Let me just fix that. And I'll kind of show you how it looks like stock, if you will. Okay, so it's not selected. So you can see here, it's okay. Um, but like here, like what is this buy signal doing here? You know what I mean? What are these buy signals doing here? That's why I don't suggest using the stock indicator or the default settings on this. So please make sure you change it, and please make sure you hit save. All right.
Got it.
Any other questions so far?
Okay, how do you have the two the charts that you have on the bottom that you were going over? Those two, yeah.
These two? These are just other indicators. These are
Okay,
just other indicators. So remember I said you can help these weed out other plays or help you stay in plays. Let me see if I can find an example of this. Let me change my settings back to default here. So again, repeat signals on, everything else checked off, except use MACD filter. Okay, so make sure these are all unchecked. Hard time frame. If you're only using the infinity indicator, that's when you have the higher time frame box checked. If you're not, then I want this unchecked. So for most of you who are more active traders, most of you here are, you're probably going to have this checked off. But just know you're going to get maybe 10% more false signals. So the way you can help weed those out is like this. Okay. Let me see if I could find a instance here. Trying to find an instance where it failed too. I mean, you can see here, I mean, it's pretty solid on its own. So here, I mean, it's hard to pick apart something within here. Oh, I know. I'll go to the 1 minute. So the lower time frame you go, um, the less accurate the indicator is, from what I've seen.
So we really want to be doing like a 5 minute time frame if we're doing it date, like sticking to it during the day, somewhere between
No,
5 minutes and an hour, right? Depending.
sorry, let me rephrase that. When using the indicator on its own, the indicator becomes less accurate. So if you only look at buy signals, so like we have like an 80% win rate on the 5 minute chart. We have an 85 on the hourly chart, and we have like a 90% win rate on the daily chart. You'll see what I'm talking about here if you, and you'll also see you can't change the ETH RTH here, by the way. That's all you get. But you can see here it's just whoops, it's just much more accurate in a higher time frame. Um,
So I guess my
so
question is like, would the time frame I'm using be based on the amount of or how active I am trading? So like
say
if I'm
that again. I'm
sitting in
sorry.
front of my computer trading, I would want to use the 5 minute. But if I'm like out running errands and I'm just kind of trading off of my phone as I'm doing shit, I would probably want to use like the 1 hour, right?
So essentially this, okay? Um, yes, you're on the right track, so I'm gonna say yes. But the way I do it is this. I use the daily chart or the 4 hour chart for longer term trades. Okay. And by longer term, I made trades that are probably going to be like a month or more. Um, I use the hourly chart or something close to that for swing trades and trades that I might be in for like a day or five or something like that, somewhere in that range. And then I'll use like the 1, 3, and 5 minute chart, especially the 3 minute chart. All our alerts are gone on the 5 minute, but that's going to change here because the 3 minute chart seems to be get you in the plays a little bit sooner. It just seems to be better from what I've seen. Um, so you would use something like those 1, 3, and 5 minute charts for uh, for day trading. Okay. And again, you should be looking at the trend, right? So when I'm day trading, I'm also keeping in mind that, okay, yes, we're in an uptrend on the daily chart, but we're on a downtrend on the hourly chart. Well, a small one, I guess you can say. Here's a good sideways. Here's a good sideways. Indicator there. Remember I said this is a good indication of sideways price action? So watch which way we break here on the MLMI, and that'll be a good indication of where we're going to go. But so you can see we were at least trending down. This isn't really down. This is more sideways than anything. I guess if you go to like the 30 or the 15, that'll probably show a little bit more of downwards pressure, but you can say it's more sideways. Okay. But that is important to keep in mind. So knowing that it's sideways, what does that tell you? Well, you should probably be careful trading in either direction, and if we were in something like this where Thanksgiving week, we were in a very clear uptrend, right? The week before Thanksgiving, the end of November, we're in a very clear uptrend, right? You know, we bottomed out over here. MLMI gave an indication here, and we got a buy signal on the infinity indicators, right? So that's a indication that we're headed up, and it shows it that way on the hourly chart too. Just so I can show you that's not just the 30 minute. So we're in a very clear uptrend, right? So during these time frames, when you are in a trend, whether that's in a downtrend or an uptrend, you then go to the other charts, your lower time frame charts, where you're actually going to be trading. And if I don't want to drag out the video, but if you go to these areas, here, I guess I can go back here. What is this fucking? Sorry for my language. 20th. So let's just go. We'll go to 5 minute. We'll run the 20th real quick. Oh, this was around the Fed meeting. That's right. What did I say? The 20th, right? So here, 20th. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll do this. And here is that uptrend that I talked about, right? So this is the 5 minute chart. So this is we're talking about day trading here, right? So let's go to ETH. Come back a little bit. Okay. So here's our uptrend. Okay. And then so let's just zoom into 1 day on the uptrend. Um, so here it is. And then we'll do the day after. So you can see the sell signals don't have as much. It's not the best example. I mean, it's still, You could sell the sell signals don't have a ton of meat on the bone, whereas the buy signals do. Okay, let's go the day before. Here's a better example. So you could see, yeah, you made good money on this sell signal, don't get me wrong, but where was the meat on the play of the day? Buy signal. And then there's the 20th. Kind of the same thing, you know. All the meat is in the buy signal. Why? Because going back to my comment, trade with the trend. Trade with the trend. If you trade with the trend, and I go opposite the trend more than I should. Why? Because I'm human and I'm not perfect. But that's some of the times where I need to be taking my own advice. Like today, even though I was kind of playing around with something, trying to see something. You want to trade with the trend, and you're going to pick up wins a lot easier with that. And what the higher time frame does for this is it will show. I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch of zooming in and out and all that stuff again. But what the higher time frame box does when you check it is it says, okay, let's say you check that higher time frame box and you put hourly on it. So it would then look at the 1 hour chart, see if the infinity indicator is on a whatever. So in that instance, it's on a buy signal. So it would only give us buy signals. So we would get this buy signal, we would get this buy signal, we would get this buy signal, and we would not get this sell signal. All right. And we would then get this buy signal all in the exact same spots. You would get the buy signal, but it would just take that sell signal out. And that's why I say when you use one indicator, that's why I can say you can use only the infinity and only the infinity indicator because it's doing this work for you. Um, uh, but again, as you can see, the plays come much later, yada, 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 yada. And then you miss the sell plays that come along with that, which, if you're just trying to get on your feet, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with missing plays. You really want to be taking the high quality plays. So that's why I suggest um, checking the higher time frame box if you're only using the infinity indicator. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Cool. Any other questions, guys?
Dude, I was just thinking of something and I forgot it. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
you're
so
fine.
the
Right.
infinity indicator, um, as you update it, like, so obviously I've been with you for a really long time.
Mhm.
Back for a year ago, we set this indicator up and it was set up a certain way. And then since then, I know you've made changes to that.
Mhm.
Does it automatically update for me when you make changes?
No, not usually. So that's why I share with you guys and I tag you guys whenever I make changes. And that's also why I try and keep any changes minimal. It's important to remember, though, that these changes I'm making aren't so much changes as they are tweaks, you know? So, like going from the 3 minute to the 5 minute, is that going to make a world of difference in, trading and wins and losses and this and that between using the 5 minute? Probably not a huge difference, no. But it's making enough of a difference enough of an improvement, in my opinion, to where that's something that I want us to change to from the 5 to the 3 minute chart. Now, maybe you like the 5 minute chart more. Cool. Use the 5 minute chart. You know what I mean? Um, but the settings I share and the way I share that, I keep it as a baseline. So that way, if people struggle or maybe you veer off and you start checking other boxes that you think might work better, well, you always have a baseline to come back to, and say, okay, I got too far from from the herd here. Let me come back a little bit and get back to the foundation that I know works. And so that's why I share that. And that's why I make improvements to it, because if I see things, if I see it's a definite improvement, then I'm gonna make a change. Just like right now, I'm just waiting till the end of the month. I know we're gonna make that change. I just don't think it's really fair, statistics wise, and to kind of do that and just switch up in the middle of the month. But so yeah, that's does that answer your question about that?
So I guess the infinity indicator that I've got permissions from you to use, is that gonna like, do I need to get new permissions for the
No,
updated version or anything?
no, no. You're not going to need to do anything except change what I just said on the Infinity. I'm not going to repeat it again because I think I've
Yeah,
done it like five
I did all
times.
that with you.
What's up?
I did all the boxes and all the check marks and I followed through with all of that. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing, and again, just to hammer this home, don't forget to hit save. All right. That's important. Whenever you make changes, don't forget to make save. You can put the auto save box on if you want, but I mess around with the settings too much to use that auto save. But if I do make changes, you always want to make sure you hit save, and then you never have to change it ever again. It's set.
Yeah.
Unless you want to tweak the settings, that's up to you.
So
But
how do I add those other two indicators that you have?
um, so I have a video on this, but it's all under indicators.
Okay,
I'll share
I
those
can go watch
videos.
the videos now that I'm back into things. I just got to make sure I'm
Yes.
looking at the right ones.
Yeah, and you're gonna it should look just like this, and I put it out in the video. Like this one is the MLMI indicator, machine learning momentum index by Zierman. Okay, so there's only one of those by Zierman. I think there's only one of them, period. But and then it should look like this. So even if you have something different, it's going to look different, so you're going to say, wait a second, something's wrong, and then you go back and you check, and maybe you selected the wrong one or something. I don't know. But yeah, if you follow the videos, you're going to be you'll be in business.
Okay. I
All
think
right.
that's really all I had to do. I've got to get those videos set up and get that done before I can ask any, well,
Yeah, and honestly, in terms of videos, don't just watch my whole YouTube, because I have like 170 videos or something on there. There's
yeah.
like three videos that you need to watch. All right. The how to set up the infinity indicator, which if you did that, that takes an hour, which is the longest, or a half hour, um, uh, video that you don't need to watch there. And then the other ones is just on the MLMI, and then this one, which is the volume order book one, which is, I guess, this is a good point to transition into that. God damn it. No. All right, we'll do this. Okay. Which is the this one. Really? Come on. The volume order book. Okay. And
Yeah.
I have a video on this. So again, It's pretty straightforward. This is something that's quick enough where I can just run through this in a couple minutes. But again, if you kind of want to go deeper into how to use it, number one, the best thing you can do is to get into these charts and use the indicator and watch the indicators, see how they move. Go back, and I highly suggest this, go back and look at the performance of the indicator uh, in the past. How did it perform in the past? Yesterday, last month, last year, 6 months ago, whatever, 10 years ago. I tested this indicator going back 10 years on the daily chart for the infinity indicator. That's how I got that 90% number, by the way. So get in the charts. That's your best teacher is going to be experience and actually getting in there, using it. And same thing with the volume order book, same thing with the MLMI. So the volume order book is very straightforward. It gives you areas where there are lots of volume orders. Um, so so what these show is essentially areas of support and resistance. So here, the wider the bar here, the more support. Okay, so you hear 14, 12, 8, 5, 3, 1. Okay. And then let me go to the ES for this because that's live. And then the smaller the bars, okay, so the thinner they are, that shows an area of less uh where's my words? Um there's less going on. There's less transactions. Okay, the price action. There's less price action, and what does that mean? That essentially what that means is there's less support or resistance there. Okay, so let me see if I can find a good example. Uh, Today was a good example. The problem is the order books change. They're dynamic, so it's changing in real time. But today was a really good example where you had a ton of red, big fat red areas at open, okay? Right at that 605 area. All right. And that's just going off the top of my head. So let's go back. Now I gotta go to SPY. Um, SPY. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so right at the 605 area, 60, they were all stacked up. And again, you can't see it now because it's dynamic. And oh, by the way, if it ever like does this, like it's not showing up, right? First of all, give it a minute. And second of all, just click off the chart and then go back and give it a minute and it should come back. But this is the coding error that she was talking about. I don't know why it's not showing up right now, but this is the coding error that she was talking about. And we do have a fix to this. I just need to see if I can get permission. If not, I'm just going to hire him to do one for us. So it's not showing here on the 1 minute, but yeah, so this looks completely different than it did before. You had red and it was stacked up here. It was like it is here in green, but it was red. Okay, so that was a good indication. Then you had a big fat ton of orders here at like I forget how many. I'm not going to pretend to remember, but you could tell. And then there wasn't as much green here, almost like here, right? Um, so, so what does that tell you? Even just looking at it right here tells you here, looks like we're going to bounce probably somewhere, what, in this area, right? First of all, there's a ton of support in that 606, 601 area. Here in this area, there's a ton of support. So if we do come down here, and it's very possible, because there's not a ton of support over here. This is a thin area. There's not a lot of price action. There's not a lot of volume here. Going on here historically. So this is a weak area of support and resistance. So if we did fall through this area, I would expect us to fall somewhere to this. And again, just looking at this chart, we bounced somewhere in the 601 area or something like that, 600, 601 area. But again, today we had red here, and you saw where we opened up today. We dropped, came back up, and we didn't get past 605. It was like there was a fucking wall there. Um, so um, so that's what you can use the volume order book for. It indicates, and again here, so thin areas. Let me just see if I could find. I know here. Okay, so areas like right here. So you have some support here at this area on XRP around two, or resistance, I should say, around 260 ish, 260 ish. Um, And but if we get above that, there's not a lot of, and again, see how that just changed? It's dynamic. It's changing in real time. Um, but if we get above that, we can move very quickly through this area. What do I see here? You see a lot of support here, okay? So we would expect, some bounces in that area. And if you look, that lines up with essentially what you're seeing, right? You don't need lines to see that you have support, right here in this, 250-ish area, 255, 260, 250 to 260, I should say, on XRP. So that's how you read the order book indicator. And again, I have a video that goes deeper on that, but essentially I just showed you what the video was on. Anyone have any questions?
Not really, not yet.
Okay. All right, so we covered the order book. We covered um the infinity indicator. We covered the MLMI. Oh, I guess if nobody has any questions, we can just finish up with a basic Fibonacci um uh Fibonacci, I guess, crash course. Um so say the natural gas play we made a ton of money on, and then I sold way too early, but whatever. Um, Natural gas. Okay. So I said we had a ton of support in that three area. Actually, I need to go to the right conch. Yes, I guess this is fine. In that three area, and hold on, I need to do this. So this was more of a swing trade. And so the essence of this natural gas play at first wasn't Fibonacci. It was actually there was a ton of order volume down here. So I kind of knew. I think I called it out like on the 17th. You guys can correct me, maybe. Wait, no, it was before. It was this because it was after this huge drop. Um, um, Hourly chart, natural gas. Just give me 2 seconds and I'll tell you when it was. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Spy, spy, spy. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, natural gas. I told you guys on December 8th. December 8th. So I might have to, let me go to 2 hour. December 8th. Okay, here we go. December 8th. There we go. Okay. So I told you guys here. All right. I told you guys December 8th at 6 o'clock. All right, this is about as close as there it is, right here. Okay, so this is where I said look to go long on natural gas. And you can see here we kind of danced around a little bit and then rocketed it up. So Fibonacci. Now, this isn't your right setup. You guys aren't, if you don't have your Fibonacci set up right now, it's gonna look different than mine. So don't like try. Oh, whoa, what the hell? How did mine get red? Uh-oh. All right, maybe we'll go through it real quick because I don't have it set up properly. So okay, we'll go through Fibonacci setup. Um, So you're going to go to your fib retracement, and then if you just draw it out, doesn't matter where you draw it for now, but go ahead and click on it there. Then you are going to go to settings, just like you would on any indicator. Okay. And then here you're going to change some things. I'm kind of, I don't know how it got to red. So here are the settings. And you can change them with me here in real time if you like. Um, just give me 1 second and let me pull them up. I have them saved here. Okay. So your zero is going to be white, or first let's start here, I guess. Your trend line is going to be line, and it's going to be um, gray. Uh, then you're going to have your 0 and your 100 are both also going to be gray. Okay, so your 0 and your 1 or 100 are going to be gray. Try and make them the same color. And you'll see why here in a minute. Next, your 23.6 is going to be blue. Your 76.4 or 0.764 is going to be blue. Your 127 is going to be, where is it? Here it is, blue. And your fourth blue, wait, 1, 2, 3. So you should have 3 blue ones. Next, your 38.2 is going to be yellow. Your 0.5 is going to be yellow. And your 61 is going to be yellow. This is our golden pocket or our golden zone. Okay. And then where are we going to be shooting for after we hit that? We're going to be shooting for the 161.8. It's also going to be gold. Okay. And then sorry, I'm just looking here. Your 86 is going to be teal or like maybe like a green. Let's make it just so it's maybe just different. Oh wait, now we have green. Light blue is fine. That's different enough than heavy blue. So your 86.6 is going to be heavy blue. Your 113 is going to be the 0 under the 86 is going to be the same blue. Which one is this one? Let's see. Same blue. And then the one under it, the 13.4, same blue. Okay. Um, and then last but not least, your 13.4. Hang on. 13.4. Yeah. Wait, 0. Where's my 113? Ah, I'm sorry. The 113 here should be blue, not the this one should actually be green. The 13.4 or the 0.134, we're gonna make that green. And last but not least, or 118 is going to be green. Okay? So it should look like this. I'll give you guys just a minute just to catch up, just to make sure you didn't miss anything. Um, and there's no save button here. It just kind of saves on its own, right? Or is my head in the way? Oh, you can press OK, I guess. So everyone good? That's
Yeah,
okay.
you could also save it as template, I think. If you go down to the bottom of that, scroll down, or the template, yeah, see where that drop down is? You can save as and name it a different one.
Oh, I
If
see.
you want
I
to go
see.
back to defaults,
Gotcha. That's a good
save it,
idea, actually.
my custom colors or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. That way I don't have to do it. That way, in case that red thing happens again. I've never seen that. We'll just do fibs. Cool. All right. Um, okay. So, so the best thing to show you this on is probably the SPY, just because it's probably the most clear. We're in a very clear uptrend. So what you're looking for is where are we going? Okay, what you can use this on any time frame. You can use it on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, hourly. You can use it on any asset. It's like the infinity indicator. It doesn't matter the asset. You're looking at what the play is. So. For a bullish play, you are looking at um, what trend are we in? We're in an uptrend, right? We're in a very clear uptrend, okay? So what are you looking for when you go when you're looking to use Fibonacci? Well, you're looking and let me turn the infinity, let me turn this off. You're looking for your higher high. Well, first you're looking for a higher low, then you're looking for a higher high. Okay, so we're in an uptrend, right? So we're looking for, let's say we came in here. I'm just picking a random spot. We came in here. Okay. Um, so now we're looking for a higher low, which we have, right? And a higher high. Okay. And the thing about fibs, and the thing that I think people get confused about is fibs just lay on top of each other. So there's no like right or wrong, not really, way to look at this. Because, and that's not just in charts, that's literally everywhere in nature. Fibonacci is just layered on top of each other. It's just math. It's just so maybe I'll show you here what I mean in words better than uh or I guess in so you have um your higher low here. That's going to be your 0 point. Then you have your higher high. Okay. And then all you're doing is you're looking for, and look at this shit right here. We bounced almost right off this damn 61 line, this golden zone here, this golden pocket, if you will, and then head up. So this is like the sweet trade, like the not the fib trade because there are plenty of other like little fib trades I'll show you in a second. But to me, the best and the clearest ones are when we set a higher high, a higher low, so higher low, higher high, higher low at 0, higher high at 1, and then we bounce somewhere in the golden pocket here, this golden zone. All right. Then where's our price target? After we bounce and we hit this golden zone, If we hit any one of these three lines, then our price target is at the yellow line, this other yellow line here. And you can see here what happened. So we came
Yeah.
up, we had our higher high, higher low. So that we then set our fibs. And now what are we doing here? All right. Think about it in real time. What are we doing? Well, we're just waiting. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for it to bounce in reverse and start heading the other way. We're looking for essentially where the institutions are putting the bottom in and saying, okay, we're headed the other way. So where does that happen? It happens here, and it's more clear to see it after it happens, right? But once we start heading the other way, essentially, the majority of the time, that's where we're going, and that's what happens. I forget, it wasn't this fib trade, but I think it was. You could see like all these are just fib trades. Here's another one. Okay.
Okay, so I got a question for you then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bring it.
Does this play in a sense kind of like the infinity indicator with the buy and sell and the options? So if it
Yeah.
drops down, we've got our 1 and 0 like you were talking about. And
Mhm.
then we go and we get our higher high, higher low. And then right after that, it drops down into the gold zone.
Right.
Obviously, from there, it shoots back up to the top in the gold zone, that
Mhm.
top gold line. So what if
Right.
essentially I would have wanted to buy a option call at that bottom grouping where it was in the three bottom yellow lines and follow
Yeah.
it up, right? So does it
Yes.
work the opposite way if I'm looking at this indicator and then I see that it's met those same parameters, but it's all the way up at the top yellow line? Should I buy a put and ride that down?
No, because it doesn't necessarily mean, even though I've seen a lot of times when it hits, it does retrace, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean it everything in this one image that we're looking at, obviously it's only one, but
hold on,
every
let me
one
go
of
back.
them, you see the indicator repeats itself as it goes up. It still drops down, hits that gold, drops back up, hits that gold line, has a little bit of movement in between, but you see where it's meeting those other parameters. It's doing that every time, it looks like.
Yes, yes, yes. And in this situation, it is, and that's what I mean by fibs are layered on top of each other. Okay, so this was the one we did, right?
Yep,
Well, I'm sorry, this trade, right, this was the trade right here. Zero,
yep,
100, we retrace. So your entry should be on this play should have been somewhere around, sorry, give me a second.
right there at the bottom of that, right where it hits that top yellow
Exactly.
line, right?
Exactly. So your entry should have been, I mean, look how fucking close that is to just bouncing right above. So, and another thing I want you, so when you see candles like this, that's tons of buying pressure. It's easier to see on I have Heiken Ashi on, but essentially it's the same thing. I can just fucking, god damn it. Hang on. Come on.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah. So there we go. Okay. So I'm gonna keep it on Heiken Ashi because I don't feel like zooming in again. But yeah, it's essentially the same thing with a regular candlestick. Reading candles, this is you have buyer stepping in here. Yes, we bottomed here, right? But we're heading back up.
Uh-huh.
Also, you can one up that, and uh, I don't know if it's gonna. Well, I can go back to it. What is this? August 5th at 10 o'clock. Okay. So you can also, good. I don't have to redo that. You can use the infinity indicator. Okay. And
Yep,
then, right? So we hit the and granted again here and I don't know what these settings are at. Maybe they're at default. Maybe it was just a bad signal. Looks that way. Oh, I'm on that's why. I'm on ETH. So on RTH this sell signal may not be there. And it's also not there when you have the higher time frame on. But regardless, okay? So here, you can use the infinity indicator to get into this trade. So you know you're getting a entry here. And again, you can essentially just ignore the sell signal also, the bad sell signal here, in this case at least, because you know you're heading up. The Fibonacci is so accurate, from what I've seen and from what I've been shown. The Fibonacci retracement is accurate enough to predict, assume what word do I want to use there, that after we see this bounce here, at some point we are going to get to this yellow line. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can use the indicator in combination with the Fibonacci retracement. So that was that. That was that fib. And what I mean by Fibonacci's layer on top of each other is, so that was there to there, right? So let's do this one. So then you have what? A higher low here. Try to, when you do it, try to get as close as possible. But for this, oh, I got it backwards. God damn it. So, and then to go short, you just do it backwards, just like I did. But you
Okay,
just
so you
again,
can, that's basically what I was asking is, so do you just flip it around? But you would flip
when you
the
go,
whole
yeah, when you're
Fibonacci
looking at it
around.
opposite. Yeah,
That's what I
yes,
figure. Okay.
yes, exactly,
So
exactly. And
basically
then here,
you buy your your call, ride it up to the top, and then once you see it's getting up pretty high, flip the Fibonacci around just to kind of check it. And once you see that turn down happen, or you see it reach those 3 bars at the top, you can buy your
well,
puts and off
so
balancing.
so no. So again, to answer your question, no. I thought you were talking about something else. When you go short and you're doing a Fibonacci trade to the downside, you just flip the indicator. So here, your zero, you find your higher low and your higher high. Okay, 0, 100. This is, we're in an uptrend. I'm looking at it and we're going bullish, right? What I'm
Yes.
saying is you just flip it and go opposite if you're going short. So your zero would then be at the top.
Yeah, okay, that's
Your
what I meant. Like I was just saying two different trades. Like you
yeah,
leave it one way to
but you
ride it up.
shouldn't buy puts just because we hit the yellow line.
No, that's what I mean. Once you hit that yellow line, you would flip the indicator to make sure it's still
No,
falling. No? Okay.
no, not necessarily. No.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
No, because we're still in an uptrend. So even though let me see if I can. We're not going to see the end result of this play, but let's go back and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's play it out because that's a good question. Um, let me just. Okay, so let's go back here. So we're not going to see how this play ends yet, but what we'll do is we'll come back to this in a month or two, and I'll show you. So here's our 0 and 100. Okay, higher high,
Yep.
higher low. Boom, we hit our target. Now, yes, this is an area where you can it's an area of resistance. Why, algos are taking profits. People are taking profits. You think we're the only people trading Fibonacci? So this is where a lot of people are exiting this particular Fibonacci play. So that's why you see the downward pressure, but it wasn't a whole lot. We're now headed back up. Okay, so these Fibonacci plays are layered on top of each other. So what would you do here after you hit the yellow line? In terms of Fibonacci, you close out the trade and you're done. That's it. That's the end of it. Now,
Okay.
what could you do next? Well, you could do this. All right. You could then, after closing out the trade here, look at what you got. And I don't think we've seen the end of this trade yet, but
And
let's
Colin,
see.
that's why you're coloring these ones. They just mean something more to you rather than keeping them
Yes.
default colors.
Yes, exactly. And then, So look, so you exit your trade. What do? Here's another higher. Well, is it this one? Yeah, here's one. Higher high,
Um,
higher low. Okay. So here was one of the plays, right? So now you have a new fib trade. Okay. Here's your zero. Here's your 100. Here's your higher high. Here's your higher low. Boom. We come down. Boom. We hit off 50% again. And off away we go. We still haven't hit our price target yet, which is at 620. I would put money that we're going to hit that price target at some point in the very near future. As a matter of fact, I think I said what, 615, 619. I don't remember. But so that's how it's done. You're
Could you
riding the
cover what those
trend.
colors mean again? The reason you chose those different colors?
Well,
Is that the
okay.
golden
So
pocket there?
yeah. So this is the golden zone here. If you get into this area here, you're almost always going to hit this area here after you
Oh,
bounce
the other
here.
one.
Right. So hit any of the three yellow lines and boom, you're headed up to your uh 620 line. Nine times out of eight times, nine times out of ten, a lot, almost all the time. I'll put it to you that way. Um and then so there are other colors here, right? So what do the other colors mean? Okay. So let's say we came down to this blue line. Where would our price target be? It would be the next blue line up here.
Okay, I
Okay.
need to update my colors like that and then start to get used
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
and
say
the
we
gray is
came
the
down and we
same.
hit this green line here. Where would our price? Anyone want to guess where our price
Yeah,
target would be?
the upper green.
Yeah, the upper green line. Yep,
What is
exactly.
that light blue one, 604, 605? Is that
Uh,
1.13?
oh yeah.
What is
So
that based off of?
I I haven't seen this happen yet, but I'm guessing if it comes back down and bounces off this essentially your zero line,
Like a double
that we
bottom?
touched that one. Yeah,
Huh.
but I'll be honest, I haven't seen that happen yet.
Do you think you could go
Um,
to a different chart and redraw this on a fresh chart just to see how you would look at it now on like a fresh chart? Maybe on like a I don't know, Microsoft or QQQ or
yeah,
something
those are
else.
all going to be pretty similar though. But yeah,
Yeah, how
sure.
about yeah, just
You know what
something
I mean?
else. Yeah, yeah. They all look the same.
Um,
Just want to
yeah,
see how you would draw
they
that
all look
fib
the
on
same.
something.
Let me try and think of one. Fuck it. Even though this doesn't really go by like fundamentals or I'm just curious if it'll work on something like um, we got to find a trend first. Well, it should be a downtrend, right? Yeah.
I guess my
Are
problem
you
is
about to
just
dive?
deciding where to draw it and what time frame to use sometimes.
Um, it doesn't matter.
Pretty subjective.
Yeah, because it works on any time frame. Like I'll be honest, I haven't really used it on any lower time frames. Let's see that. Let's see if we could do something like fresh, um, on something that's like active. Um, uh, let's
Hey,
see.
Colin.
So here we would be looking for what? We'd be looking for the opposite. And we're getting pretty close to our hard stop here, so I'm not going to go too deep. Um, here we would be looking for the opposite of what we were looking for in an uptrend. So another thing you could do is flip the chart as well, which I forget how to do that on
I think
here,
it's like
but
Control I or something. Control I, inverse Control I.
Control I, maybe not. Um, but regardless, um, you're just looking for the opposite. So here we're in a downtrend on Eversource Energy, whatever this stock is. So you would just be looking at the opposite. So you would find a lower low instead of a higher low, and then a wait, do I have this right? Sorry, my dyslexia is might have it backwards. So you're looking for a lower, yeah, a lower low and a higher low, right? So you're, let me see. Let
I
me
guess
try
I'm just
and,
saying that it's hard to draw it on like SPY or QQQ right now with where they're at. I don't know if you're taking you take the one is where it is at now since it's at a high. You know what I mean?
let me see. Hang on before I get too off. Let me just see. Okay. All right. So here, this will work. So this is a bearish, and let me turn off this thing again. So this is the opposite. So this is ES, not ES, but ever not like not ES as an S&P, but a stock, Eversource Energy. Okay, this Eversource is in a downtrend here. Okay, so we're going to be looking whereas SPY was in an uptrend, and we just did we looked at 0 to 1, we put our 0 here and our 100 here. We're just going to be doing the opposite. So we're going to put our 0 here at the top and our 100 at the bottom. So we're going to flip them, and then our chart is going to be flipped. Okay. So what happens? So we're looking at it opposite now, remember? So here's our higher low. Okay. We come, let me see here. Where do we retrace? Uh, it's just, sorry, it's so hard for me to look at upside down.
Yeah.
0, 1, uh, yeah, okay. So it hit the golden zone. All right. It ended up hitting the blue line, but it went deeper. It went deeper into the retracement here, and it ended up hitting this golden zone. So you just
Hmm.
look at it opposite, okay? And then what happens? Well, it comes and it hits our yellow line. So you mentioned SPY. It's hard to draw it on SPY right
Yeah,
now.
I just
You
don't know
want to
where to
take a
draw
guess
the
why?
one. It's like because it's at an all-time high or what?
Mm,
I
you're
don't know.
almost there. You're close. Think about it. What? Think about what's the
There's
first thing you think. What's the first thing you look for when you're looking to get into a Fed play?
looking for like a lower low or a higher high or something.
No,
You're
even
looking
before that. Even before that.
like a bottom, I guess. I'm
No,
not
you're
sure.
looking for the trend. You're looking
Oh,
for a
okay.
trend. You're looking for a trend. So if you don't have a trend, right? If you don't have
Yeah,
a trend, you're not going to have a play. So that's why it's hard to draw it there, is because there's no trend. You understand what I'm
I
saying?
see. Yeah, yeah.
So now obviously if you zoom out, yeah, there's your trend, there's your play.
Right. You'd have it
Um,
way down
but
low if you're on the daily or something. Or one
yeah,
hour. Yeah.
right. So, and we are in, like I said, we're in the middle of that fib play that I just drew, which is we still haven't hit that target. This one right here, which again I'll just draw it out
620
again. Just find your higher high, higher
or
low,
higher
or I'm
high.
sorry, lower, lower high, higher high, higher low, higher high for bullish. Higher low, higher high.
So
So
I'm
here's your
not
higher.
familiar with that 0.134. I haven't seen that
What's that?
too often. That 0.134 and the 1.18, those aren't standard ones you.
I don't see it off it but often it doesn't get there. Usually it bounces in this golden zone somewhere from what I've seen. So you'll
Okay.
retrace again. Here's the trend. We're in an uptrend, right? So we find our, and it doesn't matter where you put this. I could put this, whoops, I could put this here, as
I need
long
to
as
copy
your
your
line,
colors.
right. You're just trying to find boom, 0, 100. Okay, there's your higher high, higher low. Well, it makes more sense of when I put it there. You know what I mean? So boom. Here's your higher, just to teach you guys, right? Put your higher low, higher high, boom. We bounce in the
Golden
golden
pocket.
zone, right? And then our target is then what? This isn't perfect, but it's that 620-ish
621.
area
Could
is
you
where we're looking at.
could you double click on your fib lines real quick? I just want to take a quick brief look at those settings that you
Yeah, we'll
just
we'll
double
we'll end
click right
with that.
there.
Yep.
Okay.
Hang on. Hang on. Oops. Come on. There we go. Is this what you want?
Yeah, I was trying to see how okay, you just added the 0.134 at the bottom and
Yes.
looks like you have another zero. Oh, I see. Your zero
Yes.
is gray, but then you added zero to it probably just the same line. The
Well,
blue and the
yes. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just copied this from my Fib mentor, so this is the way he had
yeah,
it.
I'm trying to copy it
Um,
now.
yeah.
Maybe you could just
So,
post a
but no, you're
screenshot of
right.
this in the chat. Maybe just take a
What?
screenshot of your fib
Yeah,
settings.
go for it. Yeah.
Yep, I got it. I'll post it in there.
All right, cool. Um, all right. I appreciate everyone watching. Yeah, we went till 6 o'clock, so obviously, there's a ton of um there's a ton to learn, right? But I'll just end the meeting with this. There's a ton of information out there about the stock market, about this, about that, about, trading systems and this and that. What I want us to do is I want us to just stay in our own, and your world might be different than mine, but stay in an area and focus on kind of one or couple things, you know what I mean? So everything that we've covered in this video, you're not going to see me stray very far from any of this. Why? Because I found this and it's taken me a while to get here, and so I'm just going to focus on this. And I found that this is something that works. So now it's just more about getting better at this. You know what I mean? And not worrying so much about what everyone else is doing, what the news is, all that other stuff. Even though some of it may be good information, even though a lot of it's not, it can get overwhelming, So focus. Focus on what works, focus on what you're working on. So I'll just end the meeting with that. So I'll just give you guys one more opportunity. Anything you want to say before I wrap it up here?
No, thanks a lot.
All right, cool. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll do this again next month. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Sweet.